So, my friend, I want to ask you, have you been listening to some of my podcasts for a while and identified for yourself all the areas that you feel your business could be better in? Maybe you just are so busy you haven't yet mastered the working as much as you like bit. Or maybe you're just not bringing in the money, like you're struggling with the income, or it's just not enough. Well, it's time for us to have a conversation. In the show notes, there is a link to my evolution call. If you're a dance boss and you are ready to take action, let's have a chat and let's see where I can take you. Welcome, lovelies, to the Ultimate Dance Business Podcast. My name is Deborah Laws, the dance business expert. My passion is to help you turn your passion into profit while guiding you to work less and earn more. I'm super excited to share interviews with you that I know will inspire and motivate you in your schools, as well as my solo shows where I shall be sharing some great tips and strategies. So if you love the show, please do remember to review, subscribe, and share it with your fellow dance boss friends. So let's get stuck into the business of dance. Hey, my darlings, let's talk today a little bit about planning our year. Now, you may not be listening to this in December or January, and so this may be something that you kind of make notes on and put on a back burner until you want to start thinking about planning out a full year. But of course, your year, you might think of it in terms of a January start. You might think of it in terms of a September start, depending on where you are in the world. It might be a different time of the year. So I hope this podcast today is going to help you, because I just want you to think about a few really important strategic aspects of planning your dance studio's calendar year. So we're going to dive into this today. You may want to pause me, make notes, or even do this as you go through the podcast. Entirely up to you. All right, we're going to talk about, first of all, planning out your retention events. So a retention event is something that you do in your studio, which is separate to the classes that you run. So, for example, somebody pays you £8 to come to a ballet class, they're buying a class, they pay you the money, they get what they're paying for. But of course, we want to build a studio that gives them so much more than that. And that's a whole big topic all by itself. So we're not going to go into exactly what retention is today, but we do need to create some wonderful events throughout the year that kind of layer on top of the basic deliverables, which is the classes. That means that we create memories, and these memories bond students to our studio for many, many years. So very briefly, talking about retention type events, these could be things like picnic in the park in the summer, where your whole school comes together and you play games and you have a bouncy castle, and like it's a very family community event. It might be something like you take all the kids to the ballet once a year or to the panto. It could be events like pajama wearing week for charity. It could be dad dancing week, where all the dads come and join in the classes. Like, these are fun additional events that you would put on throughout your year that creates the memories. And we want to build these out for a whole year. So I want you to think about what they currently look like for you. Maybe you do shows. That's a retention event. Maybe you always do every year a performance at an old people's home. Like, what are the things that you currently have going on? I want you to map those out and put them in your diary. And then I want you to think to yourself, do we do something for every age group? Or most of our retention events geared around our seniors or our comp team? Like, is there a whole group of kids or a genre or an age group that doesn't really get anything other than the class that they pay for? I want you to make sure that you have at least one thing in your diary that brings your entire studio together. And then I want you to have at least one thing that is specific to a group of ages, like your early years, your middle school, your upper school. so that everybody has at least 2 events a year. And I want you to map that out for the next 12 months. Okay, now we're going to do the same, but for attraction. So attraction meaning your marketing, the things that make you visible in your community, the things that will bring in and generate more inquiries, more trials. Like these are things that are equally important to the retention things. Think of retention events as keeping the students we've currently got, and our attraction events or methods are things that bring in new students that we don't currently have. So what does that look like for a year? And again, like my members get many, many trainings that all look different, many hours of help and guidance on how to come up with these ideas and how to do them and how to be successful with their marketing. But for you, without going into this in lots of detail, I just want you to think, what do we do in terms of things that attract students to us? And let's put those in the diary. So maybe you're going to run some paid meta ads once or twice or 3 times a year. Maybe you're going to go and do some external events like school fetes or carnivals or processions. Maybe you have things like Bring a Bestie Week. Maybe you have some ongoing things that you do like social media. Like let's plan that out for the year as well. And I don't mean in minute detail, like that's a separate planning session altogether. Your marketing for 12 months is a whole other session, kind of planning session. But let's just get the main things put into our diary, especially the events that involve you being somewhere and doing things with your kids. So now you've got all the retention and all the big main attraction things put into your diary. You can start to see what the year is starting to look like. And of course, also we need you to add in things like, every year we do a show at this time of year. Every year, maybe you do exams at a certain type of year. Every year, perhaps you have some other kind of event. Like you need to put in those non-negotiables that happen year in, year out as well. Things like watch week. Maybe you do a watch week at the end of every term. Stick that in the diary. Because I want you to really start to picture and start to bring your year to life. Sometimes I don't think we do that. We just survive from one week to the next, and we do this and we do that, and then we've got that coming up because we always do that each year. Like I want it to be more planned. I want it to have more structure. And one of the reasons that I want you to do this, and this is a really big reason, a really important reason that sometimes gets overlooked, is I want you to, and we're going to do this a bit later on, but I want you to picture you at this time of the year, on this day, in this week. How are you feeling? You, the business owner, you, the captain at the ship, you, the boss. Like, can you plonk yourself down a bit like, on Google Maps, you can pick up the little man and plonk it on a street and then you get the street view. I want you to be able to do the same thing. Pick yourself up and plonk yourself in the middle of one of the busy periods in your diary that we're starting to map out and just kind of go, oh gosh, that feels really heavy. Like we've got that going on and that going on and 4 things happening. And there's also 4 things happening the next month. So if they're happening the next month, I know I should be working on them this month, but I've also got these things happening this month. Like I do this and I go, and I sit back and I go, no, this can't happen. This is not kind to Deborah. Like April 2026 is not a happy Deborah. It's not a kind time of year for Deborah. I can look at myself, I can future project. I am busy, I am overwhelmed, I am stressed, I am taking it out on my family because I can see with a bird's eye view that all this is going on. And then it enables us to start taking things out or moving things, just shifting things around, like playing with the chess pieces. Does this make sense? I hope that you're following me. So we've done retention and we've done attraction. Now, I also think that it's really important that we give back to our local community. And I think it's important that we have at least one time in the year where we are doing something where we are raising money or raising an awareness for a charity that's close to the local community's heart. Now, there's multiple layers why this is wonderful. It's wonderful because you're giving to a charity, you're doing something for others, and that in itself is magical. But it's also great because your parents start to see you and view you for what you are, a caring, giving person that's not always standing there with your hand out asking them to pay money for them to do something. You're not always there, doing things that generate income for the business. You're giving back as well. And that goes down really well with our parents and our community.
I am just going to pause here for a second because I just want to check that you know all about my new software, Dance Business Solutions. And if you don't, then I would love to show it to you. You can book a demo where I will show you around the magic that I have created in Dance Business Solutions, and you can see just what it will do for your business. So from websites to selling events to managing your customers, managing your inquiries, creating surveys, planning your social media, it does a gazillion things. And they're all very exciting because I have pre-built most of it for you already using my wisdom and expertise as a dance business coach. So go to dancebusinesssolutions.com as soon as you've finished listening to my podcast and click on book a demo. And I cannot wait for one of my team to show you around.
But from a business point of view, it helps you as well, because if you've done something in the community for a local charity, the chances are it might get on the news, or it might get into the local paper or an online press, or you can get into other people's social media groups because you and your students have done this thing. So it actually is good visibility for you as well, good marketing, if you like. So something for charity, whether it's children in need or tapathon that maybe you do every year, or maybe you don't do anything, you haven't ever done anything before and you're going to come up with something. So let's put in at least one kind of charity event as well. Now, the other thing that I really want you to think about is, what is it that you stand for? What is it that's important to you in your business? What is it that is part of your values, something that is very close to your heart? Maybe it's around being inclusive. Maybe it's around being an elite school to train those kids up to a standard so they can go off and dance professionally. Maybe you have an SEND program. What is it that you stand for that's really important to you? And how can you create an awareness of this in your community? So, say, for example, you're a school that doesn't do exams and you don't do competitions, you just don't like either of those things. You're a very recreational school where kids come for the fun. You don't, I don't know, maybe you don't have a uniform, or you don't follow a real structure. It's a real fun-based dance school. We need your community to know that this is what you stand for. We need you to shout about that. We need you to be putting out on your website, in blogs, on social media, when you talk to parents at events. We need you to really talk about what it is that you champion that makes you special. So make sure that in amongst all the things that we've just spoken about and all the things that you've already created that we've put in our diary, that some of those things are going to really send out the message of who we are, so that we attract all the people that love that. And in doing so, we're probably going to repel some people that don't love that. But I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I'm very fine with that. In fact, I don't want people coming into your school that are just not the right fit. They want things that you don't want to provide. They're going to be the parents that are always unhappy. Maybe they're the moaners. Maybe the ones that are always opinionated. Maybe the ones that make your life difficult. And it might be because you've attracted the wrong kind of parent into your school. And, sometimes that just happens by default. Somebody signs up and you don't know anything about them. You don't know what they stand for. But sometimes it's because we just haven't been super clear about what it is that we do or don't do. And then the next thing I want you to map out for the next 12 months, and this is an important one too, is time for you. Now, I know, don't laugh. Don't roll your eyes. Oh my gosh, Deborah, that never happens. Let's make it happen. We can create anything in our school, including time. We can make whatever choices we want. And if you choose that one morning a week, you are not going to be involved in your business in any way, shape, or form, and that is your morning to meet up with your mum and take her for lunch, or meet a girlfriend and go for coffee, or go and have a massage, or go shopping or sit and read a book or walk the dog for 2 hours, whatever it is you want to do, please map out time for you because life goes very quickly. And before you know it, you'll have been running your studio for 40 years, and there's been no time for you in the last 40 years. And before you know it, you're as old as me. You're starting to think about, how many more years are there for me to enjoy this life that I've created? So I want you to be enjoying your life, whatever age you are. But that might mean that you have to orchestrate that time. You've got to stick it in the diary. You've got to put it in the yearly diary. So, maybe you want to, I don't know, say to yourself, I want to have 2 weekends away every year. My husband and I, no kids, no other responsibility, no classes. I'm going to get cover and we're going to do 2 lovely city breaks a year or a holiday or just some time out. Going to go and sit in a shepherd's hut in a field for a week, like for whatever you would love. I want you to put that into the planning for your store, and everything gets planned around those important you time events. So it might not just be a weekly thing, it might be certain things within the year that you want to do. And then this is a different type of planning, but I think it would be helpful for you to have this in your diary as well, whether you put it on a Trello board or whether it's a diary, a physical diary on the wall, or however you do this. I want you to think to yourself, when are some of the big things that happen in my year? And how could I put some dates inside my diary so that I know that that's when I need to start doing that thing? For example, how many of you get to the end of your tax year and then go, I haven't looked at tax. I haven't looked at my tax at all for the whole year. And now my accountant is expecting my books and my receipts. And I'm going to be up till 4 o'clock in the morning because the deadline is tomorrow. I can't tell you how many times I've done that over the years. So I would have been much kinder on myself if I'd stuck a reminder in my diary 6 weeks before the deadline that said, you've only got 6 weeks, Deborah, to do your accounts. Why don't you make a start on them now? Or maybe you've got exams at a certain time of the year and you know that by this date, 4 months before or 3 months before, whenever it is, you need to have everybody's names in from your teachers, and you've got to have made the lists of who's going to get an exam letter, who's going to be invited to take their exam. It needs to be this date. I need all the names in so that we can do the invites and send them out 2 weeks later. Like some of those big deadline dates, whack those in as well. Start to put those in so that you know what's happening. Okay. And then all of a sudden, you can now take, a proper look at this in terms of the whole year. With all your retention events, your attraction events, your charity events, your exams, your shows, your deadlines. Like, what does this year look like for you? Is there too much in there? Is there not enough in there? Have you also, there's one more I forgot, sorry, team. Like, have you scheduled time to spend time with your team in terms of mentoring them, in terms of a retreat day for them? Like, have you booked in retreat and team development, mentoring time as well? Like, is it all mapped out for the whole year? I think there's some real calm that you get from doing this. There's a real sense of, I can see what next year looks like. And then when opportunities come along for you to get involved in certain things, you can look at this big old fat diary and you can go, it's just not going to work for us because we've got this and this and this on, and I'm starting to enter exams at that stage. So that's a lot of admin heavy time for me. And we're leading up to that. And I'm in the middle of some advertising campaigns. So actually, no, I'm really sorry, but I can't say yes. It's going to have to be a no. Or it might be that you look at your diary, someone's asked you to go and perform at something and you think, gosh, February is really quiet. Like it would be great to add something into February. So it's about calm. It's about being organized. It's about planning things and deadlines so that they don't just suddenly sneak up on you. And it allows you to think, what's missing? Am I doing enough marketing events? Am I doing enough retention? Am I doing too much? Like, I want there to be a real balance for you. I want you to be able to look at it and go, oh, do you know what? I think I've got a lovely balance of growing my studio and loving on my studio, or I haven't got a lovely balance. Like, I asked this question in one of my members' coaching pods this week, and the majority of people said they spent 70% of their time loving on their families, 30% growing their studio. Like, that's not a balance. Like, that's not where they wanted to be when they realized it and they thought about it. So creating this lovely planned 12-month calendar allows you to look at what that balance looks like. So let's go do it. I'm going to do mine as well for my businesses. I want you to go and plan it all out. Maybe give yourself like 2 hours to sit and really do this. And I'd love to know what the results are when you've done it. Like, send me a little message in my private inbox. You can find me Deborah Laws on Facebook or Dance Business Lab on Instagram, and just send me a little message and let me know, Deborah, I did that planning session that you said about on your podcast, and it was a real eye opener. I realized that I do this or that, or I didn't do this, or like, this is how I'm going to do it moving forwards. I'd love to know that these podcasts are helping you and hopefully making a difference. All right, my darlings, take care. Enjoy your planning. See you soon.
So I wanted to tell you that this episode is kindly sponsored by Sally at Dance Studio Marketing, who is your go-to solution for growing your dance school through the power of social media. So if you're feeling overwhelmed at trying to attract new students, at Dance Studio Marketing, Sally helps dance studio owners just like you to leverage the power of social media and paid ads to bring in a steady stream of students, which of course helps you to achieve more balance in your life. So if you're ready to grow with less stress, visit sallyprendergast.com, or you can connect with Sally at Dance Studio Marketing on your favorite social media platform today. My clients are getting fabulous results using Sally. So let's get those ads going and let's get your school growing.